everyone, it's me, Nikki. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm here with my January wrap-up. I've read 6 books, and 2 audiobooks, which I have on my pile. I read The Haunting of Tramcar 15, which is a novella set in the same universe as I can't remember it. A Master of Jinn. That's right. So it was very good. You learned a little bit more about the world that was set up in A Master of Jinn, even though these come before it. And it's just about a haunting of a tram car and 2 agents trying to figure out what happened. And they meet a lot of interesting people. And then I also read The Last Wish, which is the first in the Witcher series. I'd read it before. I'm going to try to read them again and continue the series on Libby. And so yeah, those were the 2 audiobooks I read. Oh, I did forget to add 1 book to this, but I'll do that later. So, we'll start with The Frozen Crown. Technically, I finished this on the 1st, but I started it in January, so I'm counting it. And this is, I reread this. I had the ARC, and this is the finished copy. It has a map, which I don't believe the ARC did. And it is about Askia, who is the heir to the Frozen Crown in the north of this world, up here. And as you can see, it's been taken over by the Rovian Empire, and the guy just keeps reaching and Radovan, I think his name is. And so she goes down here to the Empire of Vashir to get an army, a bigger army than she has, because she basically was like doing guerrilla tactics and to get money and help. But she has to go through the political maneuvering that they do that she's not used to, because she's not really into that. She's more of a warrior, and what was I gonna say? And even in her court, it was sort of like not like politically motivated like it is in the South. So she has to learn all of that, and yeah, I liked it. It was as good as I remember. There's magic in it, and there's people who don't like the magic users. And what else? What I really liked is that it's not slow, but it like is building towards something, and then all of that something happens at once at the end, and then you're left with this cliffhanger. Let's see. I liked all the characters. I thought there's a guy who is the son of the Emperor Iskander. I can't remember how to say his name. He's kind of an idiot, considering he's like going to be the heir to the throne. And there were some points when Askia was kind of like dumb. She doesn't want to get married to get her army, and everybody's like, that's the only way you're getting an army. So yeah, but that was, again, like, that's just not how her court system works. So But she picked up on it pretty quickly after a few missteps, and it was good. There was a lot of political, intriguing kind of stuff. And yeah, I quite liked it. I just noticed the little Logia theme here, and I'm trying to... There we go. I got a new computer, so I had to reinstall everything, so nothing's how I had it on the last one. But yes, I gave this 4 stars. Is that what I gave it? I have to check my call pile. Yes. Then the one I don't have on call pile is The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain. This is a classic. And I'll give Tom Sawyer a shot, but I think for the same reasons, I'm going to DNF it and give it away. I mean, this has been in pop culture for so long. Everybody knows the bones of the Huck Finn / Tom Sawyer stories. But this... So I was interested in, like, reading more about it instead of just general knowledge. And they do say the N-word. That's just what they said. I think this was written after the Civil War? 1884, but it was written in a time before the Civil War, so they just casually throw that word around. That's fine. Well, that's not fine, but, you know, I could understand that and read through it. But it wasn't interesting. I'm sorry, Mark Twain. I just didn't find it wasn't hooking me in any way. So, unfortunately, and there is a lot of dialect. It is very dialect heavy, and that's hard to read sometimes. So yeah, I just wasn't interested. I'm sorry, Mark Twain. So I'll have to add that on there. I'll do that after. Next I read Zahara by S.J. Jones, I believe is how you pronounce that. Oh, and The Frozen Crown was by Greta Kelly. This is the Illumicrate edition. Beautiful. And I really like this. There is a romance, but there's no love triangle. The two people who are in love fall in love and stay in love, and it's really cute. It's not an overwhelming part of the plot, but it is there. I think it's going to be like that for the other books as well. I think somewhere, maybe it's on Goodreads or something, it's like Sailor Moon-esque, which kind of. Zahara has, if you can tell, fire magic, which is again banned essentially. The great leader in the north. It's Asian inspired, so it's given China vibes, and then there is no map, which would have helped me a little, I think. It's called the Morning Realms. And then there's like people to the north who rule, and that's giving Mongol vibes, like when the Mongol ruled China. So it's that kind of thing. But that's just the vibe it's giving. Other than that, it's its own thing. There is LGBTQI rep in this, so that's great. Let's see. I'm trying to think. There are some, they do find some dead bodies. Thankfully, there are children who get injured, but I don't think they die. They just find dead bodies of adults. which is pretty traumatizing considering they weren't expecting to find them. And it's basically Zahara here trying to figure out what is up with her and her magic. And, oh, she has it's giving also Cinderella, because she has an awful stepmother. She's horrendous. And this poor girl has, like, been gaslit by her stepmother, thinking she's the only one who loves her. And people tell her, does she, though? So, yeah. She also has a sister who I kind of like, I kind of don't. Like, there's issues there. I liked her love interest. I liked his friend. And all the side characters were great. And yeah, I'm excited to continue the series and see where it goes. I don't want to give away too much because it's really great just to go in blind like I did. And it was a pretty quick read. Oh, I will say the one thing that there's a group of 7 called the Bangtan brothers, and they are actual brothers, but Bangtan is also BTS, and they come up a lot and they are important, but it just threw me off because that's all I could think about was BTS. So, you know, there's that. That's the only thing that was like, okay, I get it. But, whatever. It's fine. I still liked it. Next, I read volumes 97, 98, and 99 of One Piece. They're still in Wano. And this is, they're doing their big fight against Kaido and Big Mom. Everybody has separated and they're all trying to figure out their fights. Obviously, Luffy's gonna fight Kaido. I don't know who everybody else is gonna fight. We'll have to figure it out from there. There was a great part. Sanji gets captured. Sanji is their chef. He's the womanizer. And he gets captured by a woman. And he doesn't hit women. And that was a detriment in another arc. I think when they were going to save Robin. So this time, he calls out for help. And Robin shows up to help him. Which I liked a lot. It showed growth. There's a great scene where... Oh, there's a bunch of great scenes. Like, the 7 samurai... I don't know, it was 9, but there's less of them now. I don't know, 7 samurai was a movie. But the samurai who are trying to get revenge on Kaido, like, fight him, and that was a great scene. There was another one where Momo, the son of the last clan leader who was murdered, he basically says, I am who I am and nobody can tell me otherwise. It was really great. And then we met Yamato, I believe is her name. She's Kaido's daughter. She goes by... She's clearly a female. The way they... there isn't like another trans-ish character in here who is drawn... They were born a female but dress as a male. And then there are some that... They're here and they are drawn clearly as like male. And the outfits and everything. Yamato is clearly drawn as a female, but they all call her son of Kaido, and she actually goes by Odin's, Momo's father's name, and everybody's freaked out about that. But she's a great character, and I'm excited to see what happens. Well, I kind of know what happens, but I can't wait to read it on the print and not on the web. Next, I read Atalanta by Jennifer Saint. I like this one more than the other two. That I have read by her, mostly because the ending... The other two endings were, of course, Greek myth accurate, as was this, but Atalanta actually seems happy with this ending, whereas the other two endings for Electra and all of those poor women and Ariadne were not happy. So this is, of course, about Atalanta, who, I believe Jennifer Saint, there's like two myths. Like a lot of Greek myths, they're different, from different areas, and she sort of brought them together. She was left on a cliff by her parents who wanted a boy, and then she was raised by Artemis, and then she joins the Argonauts, and in some myths she does, and some she doesn't, but she doesn't this one. Showing Jason, and once again, a horrible light. Just like Ariadne did. No, that was Theseus, sorry. They're all horrible, quite frankly. I know there's a book about Medea, and I'm sure that will show him in a horrible light as well, because he's a dick. This has Hercules in it, who has his boyfriend. It does a lot with the journey of the Argonauts and how people don't like her because she's a girl, even though she's better than them. And basically she can't go back to Artemis because of things that happen. So she goes back to her father, who then she does the race thing that she's also famous for, and gets married, and then gets turned into a bear, I believe. So she's kind of with Artemis again. Or was it? No, they were lions. That's right. Her and her husband get turned into lions. I don't know why I thought they were bears. Probably because I said bear, as she got raised by a bear. So they're still together, and she gets to be with Artemis again. So kind of happy. Atalanta, kind of. Happy ending. Again, these books just show that Artemis isn't any better than the other Greek gods just because she's a woman. Like, early on, a character gets raped by Zeus, and Artemis is like, well, you're not a maiden anymore. Fuck off. And you're like, okay, but sure. So, well, yeah. Gods are just different and uncaring, basically. But yes, I liked it. I guess just because it had a happier, quote-unquote, ending. I don't know. I don't know what I'm expecting. Those are the only 3 I've read. I have some more, so I don't know what to expect from those. We'll find out. Next, I read Godslayers, which is the sequel to Gear Breakers. This is by Zoe Hannah Mikuta. Mikuta? I'm not... And there is a content warning for suicide and graphic violence. I don't remember... What? Yeah, I guess that happens nearest the end. There is a lot of violence. This picks up after the first one, where Eris and Sona are separated. Belsona has been brainwashed to serve the new emperor kid. He's just a kid, basically. And it's just Eris trying to get her back, and then them trying to defeat the Empire for realsies. They don't want any last bit of it rolling around because it's just going to continue. Again, no map, but they do go to a different area that basically is more fertile than the main capital land, because there's lots of trains coming for food and that sort of thing, and they sort of block access to that. There's also a mine, which is important. Lots of mech fights, I will say. Characters do die, unfortunately. But, you know, it vaguely ends happily ever after, as much as it can be in a post-apocalyptic world with mechs. So, yeah. The only thing, I don't know if I said this during the first one, I think it could have stood to be longer or more than 2 books, because Sona and Eris meet, argue, separate, and then meet again. It all happens very quickly, and I believe there are some time jumps that are there. So yeah, I just thought maybe it could have, a lot seems to happen in quick succession, that perhaps having a third or just longer books, because they're not very long. I mean, they read pretty quickly. So yeah. But, you know, that's just me. And then there was, I think it happened in the first one. Eris and her sister are of Korean descent, so they use a lot of Korean for sister and other things, but I noticed it more in this one, so it wasn't, it didn't take me out of the story. I just noticed it more than I thought I did in the first one. But that could just be me misremembering. And sometimes it did take me out. Because I don't think anybody else used any sort of, I didn't see any Spanish or Japanese or anything like that. So, yeah. But I did enjoy it. I like all the characters. I like their little found family. And then they get an even bigger found family. And I liked it. And a lot of things happen at the end, and I'm like, ugh. So, yeah. I would recommend it. And then, finally, this was the first book I read. The Third Horseman, A Story of Weather, War, and the Famine History Forgot by William Rosen. And this is in 1315. Apparently it rained for 2 years straight. It is more than just history. William Rosen talks about climate change and how that basically caused the rain. They had this warm period for 400 years, Europe did. And probably other places, but this is specifically Europe. And so they had great, not always great, but mostly great crop yields and all that kind of stuff. And then they didn't for 7 years. And it sucked for everybody. But it basically goes around the Scottish trying to beat the English back out of Scotland with Robert the Bruce. Or Robert Bruce. Against the Edwards. Edward the First was a dickhead, but good at battle. Edward the Second was a dickhead and not good at much. He's the one who had his alleged boyfriends in power and then got dethroned for his son Richard the Second. I want to say, yeah, second, because third is the other one. So yeah, they talk about that. He talks about that. That's like the main focus. But like I said, they talk about climate change and how that affected everything. Basically, there's a lot of politics, real world politics, and about how that's going to affect the ability to... They talk about wool and something else that the English can't make anymore because of the famine, and then like they can't import it either because they're at war with people. It's a whole thing. But yeah, it was a very interesting book. And I was glad to have read it because I knew about the war between England and Scotland, but I didn't know that there was a huge famine involved. I didn't know it lasted for 7 years. So yeah, if you like history and that sort of stuff, check this out. And those are all the books I read in January. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you're having a great day, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.